Is the lecture theatre a thing of the past? By Dr. Laura Jenkins. When you think of attending university, you may think of lots of undergraduate students sitting in a lecture theatre, listening to a member of staff discussing the topic that they are teaching. The lecture theatre is an integral part of university education, where students are all in the same room, engaging with a certain topic. For me, as a teaching associate in psychology, teaching lectures is a large part of my role. I have taken lectures in many areas of psychology, including personality, cognition and neuroscience, just to name a few, and every time I deliver a lecture, it's a different experience for everyone. Some of my lectures have been quite small, with only 20 to 30 students, but some of my lectures consist of potentially 350 students, and the way I deliver each lecture can differ greatly depending upon those numbers. I have some lectures where I am really prepared with notes and have activities strictly set for my students to complete, and I have other lectures where I tend to have multiple activities that I can ask my students to complete. But these activities will depend upon how the students are feeling that day. I often find that if the students are restless for whatever reason, then they may need an activity that does require some level of discussion with each other. Asking students to sit in silence for 2 hours normally does not work. When I first started lecturing, I found it quite difficult to stand up in a room full of students, but now this is something I can confidently do. I think the most difficult thing for me is to try and understand how the students would learn best in a lecture situation. In a 2-hour lecture, for example, I will talk for a while and then I will ask the students to discuss certain topics or take part in poll activities using resources such as Vivox. This just breaks down the amount of time that I am talking, but it will also give the opportunity to provide the students with some informal feedback on their learning. The first lectures I ever gave were mainly just me talking, and I very quickly picked up that the students tend to lose focus after 20 to 30 minutes, so activities are needed to refocus everyone, including me. At that point, I started to adapt my teaching approaches to be more engaging. In 2020, the way I deliver lectures changed quite quickly. Due to the lockdown and the UK government guidance, delivering a large lecture of 300 to 400 students was not possible in lecture theatres, and all in-person teaching within universities was stopped. Universities had to move all teaching online very quickly and had to find the resources to ensure that students received a great learning experience despite being in lockdown. So this brings the question as to whether universities will ever go back to having large in-person lectures, or whether technology such as Microsoft Teams and Zoom are here to stay for the long term. I have had discussions with students this year that have provided both sides of the argument. Face-to-face lectures, for some people, are the only form of social contact that they get during their university education, and taking these away can have detrimental effects upon mental health. Some people also find that they study better in a more face-to-face educational environment, so again, not having this facility may have negative effects on some students. On the other hand, having lectures online means that there are no issues with room sizes or room bookings, the more logistical side of planning lectures, and it also allows the lecture to be accessible to those who cannot be physically there in person. Delivering a lecture via an online platform can still be seen as a lecture, and successful pedagogical approaches can be still used. For the lecturer, they are still preparing the material and are still delivering the lecture, just not in the conventional way of a lecture theatre room. I have found that while I have had to make some minor changes in the way I deliver my online lectures, such as removing videos, I can still generally use the same technologies and techniques as I would if I was sitting in a room, and I have found that group work is still possible online. For me, there is the advantage of Microsoft Teams having a chat box where students can chat to each other during the lecture. When this is managed effectively, I have found that students do get involved more with the lecture because it does not physically involve speaking or putting up a hand in front of a full lecture theatre of students. My experiences have also suggested that there are more benefits of delivering live online lectures rather than pre-recording lectures, but other colleagues may disagree, and that is absolutely fine. I currently record material using Panopto that introduces students to online activities, and recording these on-demand activities can give students more flexibility in when and where they learn. In the past, before COVID-19, I have been in situations of teaching online classes and have had no option but to record lectures. This was suitable for that situation as we had students from all over the world in different time zones, but for me, I do enjoy still having the students on the other side of the computer while I'm talking. Whatever your views are, it's good to have an understanding that as lecturers, we may need to be adaptable to change in the way that we teach and use our pedagogical techniques. For now, with the ever-changing government guidelines, we can't guarantee that we'll be teaching fully online or fully face-to-face for specific lengths of time.